Listen, man, in the world right now, there's a lot of people out there that are getting their asses kicked. You know why? Because they don't have a skill.
Let's go! Do what I do! Work like I still got something to prove!
But also, they may not have the right vehicle. I was just talking to my man right here, right? He's driving Uber. And he's like, man, no matter how much I work, there's nothing that I can do in the vehicle that I'm in. Like, it can't take you to the moon, right? Like, it can't fly, right? Some people are in a Honda Accord trying to go to the moon, but they can't go to the moon in a Honda Accord, right? So, in this vehicle in solar, what can you do? What's the potential? What is the potential? Guys, what's the potential? It's whatever you want. It's whatever you want. Like, it's whatever you see. And right now, this business is harder than ever, but you're going to have a new mentality. Did we focus on mentality heavy this morning?
Absolutely.
We worked out, we grind. Who threw up? A couple of us? He threw up. I didn't. Hey, you know, I watched Micah when everybody left. He stayed here and worked out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Give it up for Micah. Go, Micah! He's getting his ass kicked to work out, but he stayed here, and I was walking on a tour with somebody, and I was like, no fucking way. Is that Micah? But that's the shit that we were talking about this morning, where a lot of people just go like this, but then they don't do anything about it, right? Like, that's just half the world. So in this opportunity, what you're going to learn from is you're going to learn from, you know, when Jordan was going to the next level, he sought out a coach. Everybody needs a coach in life. What's a good coach do? They have hard conversations with you that you don't want to have, right, Micah? I was in your face. I was like, this isn't fucking you, bro. You're going to the next level. We're not going to let you walk. We're not going to let you walk around the building. You're going to run the whole time. Why? Because we need somebody to get that potential out of us. That's what a good coach does. They look at you and they're like, bro, you got more potential, and I'm going to rip it out of you, right? Yeah. So today, you guys get an experience with Andy, which is the greatest sales trainer out there in my belief, in the history of time. But you're going to experience something that you've never experienced, but you have to be totally locked in on really hitting this next year of your life. Because no matter how good a coach is, if you're not ready to receive this shit at a high level, you don't receive shit, right? So Jordan got coached by Andy because Jordan wanted to go to the next level of his life. Now it's transitioning into you guys, and what you guys can do in this company, you can earn whatever you want. Like, that's what I was telling the guy in the Uber. No matter how far you drive, bro, you're probably not going to earn a whole lot of money. Like, your time is worth a lot, right? And in this, you can maximize your time. So,
hey, it's the Macklin twins. Thanks for watching the video. If you want the free mentality blueprint, it'll teach you how to be strong, bulletproof in your mentality. Go ahead and text 480-780-2203. Again, 480-780-2203. We'll text it right over to you. Let's get back to the video. Text us. Let's go.
You guys got Andy today. How much can you learn? How much information can you extract from him? That's the person that's most intelligent in the room. The person that's the most intelligent in the room can learn something about themselves today. They can say, oh shit, that's a hole in my game. That's a hole in my mentality. And then they have a new behavior. They have a new behavior. They don't do the same thing. There's a lot of people that get motivated in sessions like this, right? And then they go home and do the same shit. Your goal today is, I want you guys, as you're going through this, the person who takes the most notes in this room, I assure you they'll probably win, right? Because they're going to retain something. So does everybody have a pen? Does everybody have something to write with?
Yep.
So be writing some stuff down. Circle some things, man. You hear him say one thing, that one thing could be that piece of information, like when he spoke to me that it changed my life, it changed Jordan's life. Are we all after a big life?
Yeah.
Raise your hand if you're after a big life.
Yeah.
What's it going to take? Big action, man. Big fucking energy. Big focus. Big clarity. It's going to take a new level of you. Everybody say new level.
New level.
Turn to your neighbor, say new level.
New level.
Turn to the other neighbor, say new level, bitch. Well, maybe you shouldn't say it to her because George's kind of big. And you said,
New level.
it's the boss. She's savage, so I already know how that goes. All right, so we got Andy. Everybody stand up. Give it up for Andy. Let's go.
Guys, number one, I know a lot of you in here, everybody know who I am? Does everybody know who you are? That's a fucking problem. Just kidding. Hey, I want to tell you guys, number one, the cool thing is that it's cool to be the example for like other people for what's possible, right? So everybody write this down. I'm going to become living proof of what's possible. By the way, like some of you might not write anything down and you just won't be living proof at all. And you'll be here in this room today and you get a change and you just fucked it off. But I want to tell you guys can be living proof for like what's possible for other people. And I just don't think that a lot of people, when they show up to work, like they're thinking like, I'm going to be an example for someone else. They're thinking like, I'm going to pay my bills, right? Or like, I want to have this goal for my family. They're just not thinking bigger. So what I decided to do is I put together some slides, right? So that you guys can actually have something to write down. Because I can sit here and talk for fucking 18 hours, and like people will listen and they get caught up in it, but then they don't write anything down. And then when you leave, you're motivated, and then in 2 weeks, you're back to where you started.
Yep.
It's like this cycle of like shit. So I figure if I just write some stuff down, you guys can look at it. When I go to the next slide, I'd write down what I'm talking about, and then if something else like, oh, that's good too, I'll write that down. Is that cool? And by the way, like, I mean, I can send these to you when I'm done, but if you don't write it down, what's written is retained.
Yep.
Your brain is like the king of like deleting information. Dude, you guys literally have like 70 to 80,000 thoughts going through your head a day that just stream, and then you delete. And the sad thing is most people hold on to negative shit. If somebody's out in the parking lot right now and somebody came in here and they're like, dude, this guy just gave $1 million to this old lady, would you guys all run out there? Most of you would. But if somebody's like, dude, this guy just got run over in the parking lot and it ripped his leg off. You guys be like, no fucking way. Let me see. And you'd be like, I want to see the leg. It's like somebody does something good and they're like, am I right?
Yeah.
Hey, you guys are mad at me because I'm telling the truth. That's just the way it works. People are just stoked to see, like their endorphins fire from negativity, which is why the news just runs negative shit. Because dude, they were positive all day and they're like, today we're going to talk about all the good deeds everybody did. They're good. Fuck. But they say, hey, today we're going to talk about how many houses got broken into and there was 13 shootings. And a baby's face got mauled by a dog. Everybody's like, oh my God, let me see. It's like, it's seeing guys are like mad at me because the world's sick. This is when people work. So anyways, I'm just going to talk about maybe reprogramming, right? The life that I had, that wasn't a very good one. And even if I made money, everybody understand this. The financial gain is becoming the person you need to become to make financially the money you want to make. Even if you get lucky enough to be a shitty person with a shitty core, and you're just the hardest worker in the room and you make some money, it's all going to fall between your fingers and you'll lose every bit of it.
Totally. Yep.
You guys get it? I know a lot of people right now that make a lot of money. Matter of fact, I made a lot of money for a long time, and it just fell between my fingers, and I didn't get to keep any of it. So what I'm doing is I'm going to have a conversation with me, and I'm going to act like I was your age, however old you are, and I'm going to say, I wish somebody had this conversation with me when I was young. And then that way, like, you guys are alive in the same era that I'm alive. We built a 9-figure business, make a lot of money, we have a really good life, we do cool kick-ass shit, we don't stress out, I like who I am, I look in the mirror, I'm proud of me. See, my team is all proud of them, right? We don't get caught up in bullshit that everybody else gets caught up in. Everybody's like, what do you do when you're not motivated? I'm like, I don't know. Like, because I'm fucking jacked up all the time. And people are like, well, how do you get through hard shit? I'm like, fucking winners deal with hard shit all the time. And they're like, what happens when there's a problem? I'm like, only people that solve problems get paid the most money. So like problems are good.
Opportunity.
Yeah, but they're good though. They're just, and that's why when I started training Jordan, this isn't about Jordan, it's not about me, it's about you guys. You know, you were with us. You know, you saw. I was like, hey, dude, you got to fucking level up, right? Well, what happened? You made a decision. You started changing. And your marriage is
First time I
better.
met Andy, he looked at me and he goes, you look good, but we got to get rid of this body fat, this body fat. I said, you motherfucker. I'm not fat.
Yeah.
I was.
Yeah, he was fat. Hey, and by the way, listen, you know the cool thing is that compared to most other people, he wasn't fat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay? So everybody write this down. Better than most is poison. Okay, because I hear that all the time. I said, babe, our marriage is better than most. And she goes, you know what? Don't fucking compare our marriage to other people. Okay? Like rule number 1. You know, my team's better than most. What the fuck does that mean? Do we have the best team or not? If it's not number 1, then you're second. And second fucking sucks. So I want to tell you guys, the whole goal, all this stuff that I'm going to go through is if you can become this, you make as much as you want. If you don't become it, you just don't make that much, okay? And by the way, listen, man, you're not going to be fucking happy. And by the way, like, I'm okay, like, not being happy at all the time. Everybody understand this. There's days that my jaw's numb, I got a fucking headache, I got problems, everything's wrong, and I'm not happy. But I still love my life. So like everybody, it's not about always being happy, but you can be happy most of the time, okay? You know what I'm saying? You can still love your life and everything's not going great. But I would put the warrior, because I'm all about warriors and shit. The deadliest weapon is your mind. God gave you a heart, He gave you a mind. A lot of you got to make sure you examine your heart. You don't have any darkness in it. Because if you got darkness in your heart, I'm going to tell you this, you're going to fuck someone over and you're going to ruin everything in your life. And most people that have darkness in their heart, they burn their life to the ground. Like, No one else burns your life to the ground. You burn your life to the ground. Like, you fucking fucked you. Nobody fucked you. You fucked you. Okay? So in this mind thing right now, I always like to write down gatekeeper. You're the gatekeeper to your mind. I envision a piece of real estate. Let's say like there's a piece of real estate, and then there's like a guard shack at the beginning of that neighborhood. And who's going to let people in? The guard shack. And you're the guard shack. So if I say something today, you can say, hey, is this guy telling the truth? Is this good information? Is this good for me? Yeah? Okay, cool. I'm going to own that now. That's good. This guy's going to be a part of my community now. And if I say something stupid or negative or someone says something, that's got to go. That cannot take up space in your head. So you got to put boundaries around your head. The most important thing you'll ever do is guard your mind. So that's why I said, like, your mind's the most important thing. And then your greatest responsibility in life is to be in control of your thoughts. Dude, listen, people say they want to be financially free. Fuck financially free. You want to get financially free? Be free in your mind. What does that mean? That means nobody can fucking operate or run you. You run you. When you wake up, you tell yourself how your life's going to go. Most people, they say that they do that. They don't really do that. They run around with things. You ever guys feel that anxiety feeling? That's because you're not controlling your thoughts, man. When you control your thoughts, you can predict to the T how your life's going to go. Okay, so my wife can't make me happy. My team can't make me happy. Oh, I can fucking make me happy. I control this. And by the way, how I control my thoughts is how my perspective also operates. And so a lot of people in here, you've got a good mindset, but your perspective fucking sucks. Like the way that you see something. Like if something bad happens right now, do you see it as like, fuck, I got fucked again? Or do you see it as like, hey, there's got to be some goodness? Like there's got to be some goodness somewhere, right? There's got to be a learning lesson in this, and I'm just going to grow with it. Okay? So like, anyways, it's all mind, okay? We're not really sure how we're doing this today, but we're going to do it like that. Okay, so I put this down. The quality of your life will always come down to the level of your leadership. So listen, we're going to just reframe this. The life that you have now, the relationships you have now, right? The income that you earn now, that's the quality of your level. That's the level of your leadership right now. Okay? And by the way, there's 3 levels of leadership. So you want to write this down. Level 1 is going to be self-leadership. Okay? By the way, sales is leadership. Okay, sales is leading. When I sell someone, what am I doing? I'm leading them to make a decision. I'm leading them to do a process. Anything that I want in my life, I'm going to lead someone to give it to me. Am I right? Okay, cool. You can't lead anyone else if you can't lead yourself. And I see a lot of people that try to lead other people, and the reason why no one will let that person lead them is because they clearly can tell that you're not leading yourself. You guys take advice from people that don't look like they're taking advice you're giving you? You guys take advice from people that you don't want to become? This is so weird. People come to me all the time, and they're like, hey, what would you say if this person said this to you? Because I've got my family saying this, or I've got people saying this, and I always just say, do you want to be like them? Let me ask you a question. Do you want to trade places with their life? Do you want their life? No? Well, why the fuck are you listening to them? Dude, common sense. If you don't want to be someone, don't listen to them. If somebody goes, dude, you want to be them? Don't even let that shit enter your head. Now, if you do want to be them and you do want a life like them and you do respect them, then listen to them. I'm not saying you have to listen to all of it. Take the good, leave the rest. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, the quality of your life, which means if you guys all want a great life, which is why we're all here right now, you guys got one life, it's short, we got a lot to do. The level of your leadership will determine the quality of your life. Okay? This one right here, I treat everybody as a business, and that just means this. That, I sold cars when I was a kid. That was my lot. That was my finance department. Those were my cars. This is my fucking life. That's the way it worked. Everybody's like, oh, well, I don't have my own business because I work for fucking whoever. That's your fucking business. What the fuck are you talking about? That's your business. That's your. You say, well, I don't own the solar company. Motherfucker, that's why you're broke. Because you don't fucking take ownership of the solar company. You don't take ownership of whatever. Either you're an entrepreneur or an intrapreneur. Both can get rich. Entrepreneurs are the ones that take the risk. They get sued. They put up all the liability. And, they take all the responsibility. They pay all the payroll taxes. Dude, they do the marketing. They pay for the buildings, all the expenses. Dude, being an entrepreneur is a fucking bitch. Be very careful what you ask for. Because I want to be an entrepreneur. Oh, really? Come take over payroll for a minute. Wait a minute. I don't want to be one. Now I want to be an entrepreneur. I don't want any of that. Oh, so you want to be the one that works for the entrepreneur and blows them up. That's who you want to be. Yes. I will tell you, the greatest position on planet Earth is the entrepreneur. To be an entrepreneur is very, very scary. Hey, it's totally worth it as long as you got a stomach for it. If you can lose a couple $1,000,000 and keep rolling on and it doesn't mess with you, be the entrepreneur. But this one right here, we're all in business. Every one of you guys own your own business, right? You own your own business. Doesn't matter who you work for. That's your lot. Those are your cars. Those are your solar panels. That is your company. These are your customers. This is my marketing. You treat it all like it's yours. It's your business. So changing the business the fastest will always be changing the psychology of the leader. That's the way the leader thinks. Okay? Who's the chokehold on every organization? Who's the chokehold on every company? Who's the chokehold on whether a company goes to the next level or someone makes more money? It's the person running it. It's the leader. So, like, there's no way that a company can grow if the psychology of the leader doesn't grow. And by the way, maybe the leader gets mad too quickly. How many of you right now, there's a thing that I learned when I was younger, and it said the end of your fade ends at the anger that you have. And most people have anger that rises quickly, and that's how they ruin all their customers. That's how they ruin the relationships they have with their husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend. And that's how you get too emotional too quick. Hey, I'm going to tell you, I take everything personal. I really do. I take shit personal. People are like, oh, don't take it personal. I do take it personal. I take shit personal. But I'm not going to get emotional. Like, I'll take it personal, but I'm not going to get emotional. I'm not going to get mad and start yelling at people. I'm not going to do all that stuff. Dude, I've seen a lot of good employees in companies that they would have stayed, but somebody got mad and said something shouldn't have. I've seen marriages go through divorces because somebody got mad and said something shouldn't have. Nobody can ever forget. Okay. So, anyways, my point is changing the psychology of the leader, which is the person that's in charge, will change the business faster than anybody else. Again, we're going back to the headspace that you have. The way that you think, the way that you see the world. Hey, how do you guys see the world? How do you think the world sees you? Dude, I think the world fucking loves me. I really do. And people are like, dude, they don't love you. I'm like, I fucking think they do. By the way, isn't it the way that I think that matters?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, guys, can I ask you a question? Do you think people that become successful, like somebody tells them, hey, you're going to be successful? Or do you think that they're delusional? They're delusional that they'll be successful, so they just end up fucking being it because they really don't give a shit what anyone
They tell
fucking
them
does.
you can't do it, you'll never succeed.
Yeah, like, dude, like, these people are crazy. By the way, if you're passionate, you'll make it a little bit. If you're crazy, you'll make it really far. Okay, if you crack open any successful person, I promise you they're fucking batshit crazy. Now, it's just the way it works. People may say, that's not true. I know this one guy. Okay, you can do it now. I'll tell you, they're fucking crazy. This is a big one. I put leaders live for a vision that's bigger than themselves. Okay? Can I ask you guys a question? Your whole life, have you guys wanted to be treated good? Yes or no? Yes. I've always wanted to be treated good. Fact is, I haven't been treated very good much of my life. So you know what I know? I know that anything that I do from this point forward in my life, I know I'm going to treat people really good. Why? Because I always wanted to be treated that way. So I'm going to live for a vision that's bigger than me. Guys, I learned, I started getting rich when my intentions changed. This is crazy. So here I am, I'm wanting to make commissions, and I'm wanting to sell. And so you guys are like, man, I need to make this sell. No, what you need to do is treat people better than they've ever been treated. What you need to do is make people feel better than they've ever felt with anyone else in their life. Feel that way with you. I want, when you talk to somebody, I want them to never be able to forget you. That's an intention. Dude, this is a whole nother fucking day. See, I know the rules to the game. The game has changed. Okay? COVID was the best thing that ever happened to this world. Let me explain why. Especially if you guys will really understand my perspective here. So when COVID happened, people had to wear a mask and stay 6 feet apart. Everybody was made for community. Everybody's made to be close. People are made to like love each other and be close and talk and have conversations. And people like that shit. Okay? There's this thing called oxytocin. When people are close to each other, when they're lovey-dovey, feeling, hugging, and all that shit, they fucking feel good. They love each other. Trust increases, and everything's good, right? People, it's like this chemical that gets released. Well, when COVID happened, they fucking killed all of that. Well, dude, you know what I was like? What if I go and I start bringing it back and bring a lot of it? Have you noticed anytime you come into a company, everybody fucking hugs you? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we know how to fucking bring that oxytocin through the fucking roof. Serotonin, oxytocin, dopamine, all the motherfucking chemicals that a human being can bring out, we strike it in people. And they feel that around us. And what does that do? That creates attachment with us. I'm just telling you, you guys want to know how to be the best? Hey, listen, if you got a good product, I have a very good product. I have a very good business. You guys have a good business. If you guys don't know how to make people connected to you and you don't know how to create relationships, listen, transactional selling is dead. If you're doing transactional selling, it's called a commodity, which means it's a race to the bottom. But I can price my shit wherever I want because I do more than transactional selling. I do relational selling. All these chemicals, these things make people feel good. Matter of fact, they make me feel good. So like I share this with other people. And that's the reason I was growing like wildfire. So when you're in here and you're talking to me, you're going to understand, dude, I sell on a whole other level. I'm not going to do like sales like a script and word tracks and, you know, tonality, body language. Yeah, that's all cool. Dude, that's baby selling. Real big daddy selling is fucking transfer of chemicals. I'm going to make you feel something with me you ain't never felt with anybody. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that most marriages aren't even on fire. So if I go into a relationship and I can make a husband and a wife or a family feel differently than they felt with anyone before, they'll make a decision with me. You ever heard that term, have you ever made an exception just one time? It's a really good quote. Somebody's like, yeah, we normally, you know, we usually think about things overnight before we ever make a decision. Yeah, totally understand. But have you ever made an exception just one time? Just once? Yeah, be for something like this. And see, you can say that when you've done everything right up to that point. But you can't say it if you haven't. See, my number one goal is that I want to make people fall in love with me. I want to make people like want to adopt. I want to make people like when they're with me be like, fuck, dude, I can't be without this guy. That's my goal. Isn't that y'all's goal? Yeah. Dude, if that's not your goal, you don't want to be the best. Remember what I said. I said, how much money do you want to make? Well, the amount of money, if it was a big one, you're going to want to learn more. You're going to want to be more coachable. Listen, so I would write this down. I need to shed some of the old me. Okay? There's two things. Some of you need to shed, and some of you need to kill the fuck off the old you. Like, you don't need to shed. You need to fucking kill. Like me, at 39, I needed to kill the old me. I didn't want to shed. I wanted to kill. And that means if you want to become a new person, you just got to kill off the old you. But some of you, you're doing really good. You just need to shed a couple of things. So as I'm talking, you can shed. But living for a bigger vision than yourself is huge, man. By the way, that's called purpose. Okay? I always say people don't burn out, they lose their purpose. You ever heard somebody say, no, I'm just burned out? Well, that means you don't have any fucking vision. You don't care about what you're doing. What you're doing doesn't mean anything. Okay? Every day I wake up, man, I love making people happy. I love seeing people happy. I love seeing people believe in me. I put this, so this is how you get rich. I put the scarcest resource in the world is leadership. So if anybody wants to know how to make more money, how do you do it? You create more value. Am I right? If you want to make more money, Jordan, you have to create more value in yourself. What's the greatest resource in the world? The most scarcest resource ever? Leadership. So if you can become the leader builds more value, and that means you get paid more. It's very simple. So everybody's like, we need some sales training. No, you don't. You need to become a fucking leader. And if you're a leader, you can sell anyone. If you're a leader and you're self-leading yourself, if you're a leader and you believe in yourself so much and you have this thing called, I call it moral authority. Moral authority. You can walk in, you talk to somebody and they're like, I don't know why, but I fucking believe this guy. Let's do it. I just met you, but I have this gut intuition that like, I need to do what you say. It's called moral authority. It's something that people can like, they can smell it in the air. Look, people got good fucking bullshit leaders, right? Okay? Yeah, so like, have moral authority. Be who the fuck you say you are. By the way, you can't give somebody something you don't have. You can't get somebody to become something you're not. Are you guys quick at making decisions? Most people aren't. I'm very quick at making decisions. The shorter the time that it takes you to make a decision, the quicker you'll grow, the more money you'll make, the more successful you'll be. And by the way, do you want your customers to make quick decisions? Yeah, so be the customer you want. Hey, if you won't fucking invest in yourself and spend money, if you won't make quick decisions, if you're not willing to change and be coachable, how the hell are your customers going to fucking change? Physically impossible. And that's why you see all these people that are like, man, I got these objections. They don't like the way the panels look. What the fuck are you talking about? They don't like you, bro. They said that because they didn't want to be direct. The truth would have been, I wish we could put a truth serum in people. And you'd go through your pitch and they would say, I don't like you. And you'd be like, excuse me? And they would say, I don't like you. And you'd be like, well, that was rude. No, that's the truth. Rude would be me lying to you and saying I don't like the panels the way they look. The truth would be me saying I don't like you. See, you had an opportunity to earn the right for me to like you, but when you came here, you didn't earn it. So I don't like you. I think that the truth is where all growth begins. Honesty is where change happens. If you're not getting the results you want right now, it's truly because you're not good enough. Your intentions may not be right. Maybe you have commission rate. See, a lot of salespeople have commission rate. But the most scarcest resource in the world is leadership. And that's why all this is about leadership. I put together something. I put leadership is not a position, it's a skill of influence. So, what is influencing? Influence is persuasion. You guys ever heard the transfer of emotion? Take the way I feel and make somebody else feel that way?
Yeah.
You know what a buying state is? Okay, so write this down real quick. Transfer of emotion is to make somebody feel the way that you feel. Okay, so if I'm selling somebody, when I show up at the front door, should I show up in a buying state? Should I show up in a good state? Should I show up in a good attitude? Should I show up in a coachable state? Should I show up speaking with somebody with familiarity like we've known each other our whole life? People are like, when you meet somebody, you got to build rapport to tear the wall down. Hey, why don't you fucking talk to them like you know them right out the gate? They'll start talking back to you like they know you. That's the way people operate. Dude, people go in and they start shaking hands like, let's get to know each other. Look, bitch, I already fucking know you. You're a human being. You got a heart. You got a mind, right? You're good people. You use energy. You like saving money. You know inflation's real. Shit, man, we're family already. Right? So, yeah. Familiarity. Speak to them like you know them the second the first word comes out of your mouth. I'm telling you guys, that's why when you go around and you talk to people at the grocery store, right? There's this thing, and you can write this down. Like there's things that I'll say write down. There's this thing called mastering a stranger. And to me, it's the most number one skill you have to have as a salesperson. The ability to master somebody. Notice I didn't say make a friend. Okay, that's something your parents told you. I'm telling you to fucking master their ass. Okay, what does that mean? That means in the first minute or two, they're saying things like, I don't know why I'm telling you this, but they say something. And you're like, I know why you're fucking telling me. Because you fucking feel comfortable with it. I know why you're telling me. And so, like, when you can hear these things, like, I don't know why I'm telling you this, but blah, 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 you're like, okay, cool. I've done my job. I've mastered this customer. Okay? And by the way, like, the biggest hole and the flaw in human beings is they just don't know how to communicate with them. People don't know how to look at each other in the eyes. They don't know how to shake a hand. They don't even know how to talk. It's like you've been talking since you're 1 year old. And go talk to someone in the grocery store. They don't even look at you. They don't talk to you like they even give a fuck about you. Dude, have you ever seen the arrogant look that people have in their faces? Like they honestly don't even care if you're alive. That's the look that I see in most of the world. And that's the reason why everybody's growing. Okay? Because people don't like that look. You know that term, the resting bitch face? Yeah. Like people have that everywhere. And it's like people will get excited if they see that you're going to buy from them. But like, other than that, people won't get it. So anyways, I just put, oh, by the way, this is important. I put anything that can be learned or anything that can be taught is a skill. Being a good person is a skill. Okay? Guys, talking through a conversation is a skill. Okay? Like getting somebody to not be angry whenever they're angry and getting them to calm down is a skill. And so if anyone can do it, it means that you can learn it. So if I can do something, if you see me do it, you should be like, I can learn that. Don't ever say, I'm not built that way. Like what? Like you don't coach, like you don't train, you don't practice, you don't have repetition, you don't write shit down. Like what do you mean? Like everything is a skill. From the minute we're born, everything that we learn is a skill. So it can all be taught, it can all be learned, and if there's one human being that can do anything, you can do the same thing as him. Dude, I'm telling you, all I do is study humans all the time. And if anyone can do anything better than me, like I'm giving an example. Let's say I'm married, right? And like me and my wife, I want to get closer to her. And I look over, and let's say like you guys are married, right? Okay? And let's say like Jordan's the chick, right? and Jordan's over here, and he's like, hold your hand. And I'm like, oh, well, that's fucking cool. I'm like, I need to hold my wife's hand, right? But wouldn't I be an idiot to see him holding his wife's hand and be like, oh, they look close? And I'm like, I wonder how they're doing. Fucking look at him. He's holding her hand. Okay, what does that mean? Hold your wife's hand. All of a sudden, you guys get closer. Hey, this right here, it sounds like selling, but again, this is the real skill of leadership. To influence the thoughts, the feelings, and the actions and the beliefs of another human being is a skill of leadership. Okay? This is it. It's not sales. They put all this shit in a sales bucket. Can I ask you a question? Can you control your own mind? Can you control your own thoughts? Can you control your own feelings? Can you control your own emotions? Fuck yeah. And if you can do that to you, you can do it to someone else. Your greatest student that you'll ever get to teach is you. You're your own drill sergeant. You're your own coach. You live in your own head 24 hours a day. 25/7, 365. You live with you. So it's like, what do you want to fix? What's your biggest downfall? By the way, self-assess. You guys need to learn. If you want to be the greatest, you have to look in the mirror. You have to own your shit. And I call these buckets. I make these little buckets of like, where do I have the most room to excel? By the way, listen, 1% better in one area could really do a lot for your life. Okay? A lot of things people suck at, you could double. Like getting someone who's not good at, or getting somebody who's shy and then making them not shy anymore is like making them 300% better. But somebody that's not really good, when somebody hits them with an objection at like saying something, when the rejection comes in, they might get 5% better than that, but that can increase sales big time. Because most of the time objections come after like the proposal or after a price or after we show them numbers. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, to influence the thoughts, the feelings, emotions, and the actions of another person, that's leadership. The biggest challenges for businesses, they think they've maxed out what's possible. I'm going to tell you why you're not making more money. It's because truly you don't think that you can. I'm not saying that Jordan doesn't think he can. Listen, I know guys in the solar industry that make $1.5 million a year. Well, because they make $1.5 million doesn't mean that you can make $1.5 million. The only way you're going to make $1.5 million is if you believe you can make $1.5 million. They believe they could, so they did. You don't believe you can, so you can't. So notice I said they've maxed out what's possible. This is one of the biggest deals for people. Now, here's what I'll tell you. I'm going to give you a little framework. So I normally get on stage and I'll ask somebody, I'm like, how long have you been selling solar for? Okay, 1 year. And I say, hey, let me ask you a question. 1 to 10. 1 being the worst, 10 being the best. What do you think you are, 1 to 10? How do you? 2. Okay, see, but you know what I was going to say. He knows me. But most people say, I'm an 8. And I say, oh, okay, cool. So from a 1 to 10, you're an 8. So pretty much you're maxed out. You don't have much room to grow. Is that right? And then they're like, no, fuck that. I can grow. And you're like, oh, shit, I thought you were an 8. So are you a 2 then? And then once you get to your 10, you're going to fucking take over the world? Listen, your 2 may be better than someone else's 10, but your 10, I bet all of you are a long ways away from it. I'm a 1. I'm a 1. When I'm a 10, I'm taking over the world. I'm a 1 right now. If I made $100 million last year, that's a 1. I promise you, dude. I'm learning every day that there's so much to learn. I'm learning every day how to figure out when something happens bad, how to continue to operate at even a higher level. Not the same level, at even a higher level. Dude, there's levers that you need to learn to pull in your life that make you perform higher. There's things that you need to learn as a human being that will make you, like, unstoppable. Dude, human beings are resilient. It's the craziest shit I've ever seen. I mean, I'm telling you, you guys have no fucking clue. Listen, my wife, her brother was almost killed 3 weeks ago. Dude, literally, I mean, like, he was fucking dead. He's green. And 3 weeks later, with my wife coaching him, helping him, being there with him nonstop, we've literally coached him back to life. He's sitting up on his own. He's fucking taking a piss. He's learning how to walk again. Dude, like, he was fucking dead. You guys aren't dead. If you guys really took your life serious for 3 weeks, You guys can literally 5x your money. You can 5x your relationships. Dude, you can 5x you being fucking proud of you. By the way, most people think that that sounds kind of gay. When people are like, oh man, you want to be proud of you, you gotta like you. Motherfucker, you don't like you, you live with you. Like, you live with you. You know why wives are fucking shitty to their husbands? Because they don't like them. Okay? Or their husband don't like themselves, so they hate their husband. Because he can't be happy no matter what I do for him. But sometimes you can't, no one else can make you happy, and you can't fucking be happy, no matter what anyone else does for you. There's people that I've been around that I've tried my hardest to fucking make them happy. Remember, I said your greatest responsibility, your number one responsibility is to be in control of your thoughts. Now, but once that happens, your belief controls you, and then you miss your innovation. So innovation is the ability to scale. Innovation is the ability to see something outside the box, right? Innovation is how we built the Elliott Group. I fucking was sitting at a kitchen table, and I was like, wouldn't it be cool if we did this? It was hard as fuck, but we were innovative. I've learned that people, like, they max out in their mind what they think is possible. So, anyways, this is all leadership, right? At the end of the day, you guys are all in charge of you, so you're all ultimately the leader of yourself, number one. If you're married, you're the leader of your home. If you have children, you're the leader of your children, at least you should be. And your children should want to look up to you as a hero, no matter how old you get. I was telling someone the other day, I said, when I'm 90 years old, when I'm 90, and my kids are 60, they're still my baby. It doesn't fucking matter. Like, age is irrelevant to parenting. Okay? And by the way, I want to give you a secret, okay? In my company, my children, which are my team, those are my kids. Their parents pass them off to me. It's my fucking responsibility to make sure that I take really good care of them. So I want you to do this. If you don't have a team, if you don't have employees that work for you, you have customers. And these customers have parents. And their parents have handed those customers off to you for you to educate them, for you to treat them well, for you to spend time with them. Imagine if you're talking to some 45-year-old adults, and after you're done talking to them, their parents be there watching and saying, oh, kids, they treated you good. Go ahead and do it. They treated you right. Yeah, you should do it for sure. I want to make sure that, like, I'm taking care of people like I want people to take care of my children. Dude, this is a whole nother level of business. You want to know how, like, this is called the invisible. What I'm going over with you today is the invisible. Okay? You go talk to a lot of these business owners, they got a little playbook, right? Like, oh, this is how our business works. Me? Dude, you can't fucking mock what I have. My shit is the ability to catch motherfuckers on fire. My ability is the ability to hijack someone's brain because of the way that I treat them, the way that I operate, the way that I show them love. Dude, it's the invisible. The invisible is what makes you rich. By the way, like, the invisible is what makes you stand out in this world that way too. So, if somebody walks in the room and you're like, who the fuck is that? You know what you think that? Again, moral authority. That person is doing something. This is a big one. I've said this a lot. There's 3 things you must know if you're really going to give all you got in any business. Number 1, right? There's treasure in my business. You guys think that there's treasure in your business? Yes or no? Yeah. Okay. If I knew that there were treasure in this cave, I was like, dude, I'm 100% positive there's treasure in here. The second thing I got to think is, will I find it? Dude, people that don't think they're going to find it never find it. You got to think you're going to find it. Dude, one of the things that I know for sure is that I can close anybody, anytime, any place, any fucking way. It doesn't fucking matter. I can. I know that. So I close everybody. So you have to think, is there treasure in my business? Yes? Okay, cool. Will I find it? You have to think, I will find this. It's not an option. And then number 3, this is a big one. Is it worth it? You got to think, if you go and you do all this work, is it worth it? Okay? Are you guys in an opportunity right now where you guys have a pretty good earning potential? Yes or no? Yes. It's worth it. It's worth it. Ian was talking about the Uber driver, the cab driver. I mean, listen, man, is there treasure in his business? Maybe he wants to see people happy and get to fucking destination A. Okay, cool. That's treasure. Maybe he finds that treasure. B, right? Will he find it? Maybe he will if he watches it. But is it worth it? If he's not working for any financial gain and he just wants to ride around in his car all day, listen to his music, maybe it's worth it to him. But I have a feeling that the people that are in this room want to put their family in a special place. My family's in a special place. I knew there was treasure in my business. I knew I was going to find it. And I knew it was going to be worth it. Guys, I'm going to tell you this. Your life is really fucking short. You know, it sounds crazy. It's not negative. It's just the truth. And so the truth is if you really want to do something big in life, you got to wake the fuck up today. And honestly, you got to really be the gatekeeper of your mind. Be real careful that somebody convince you that you don't have to wake up today. Not to do it. This is a good one for me. I like to do this. So imagine this competitor. Okay, I put this up here. Imagine a competitor that you never, notice the word never, you never want to go up against. This motherfucker is somebody you do not want to go against. They're focused, 24/7, 365. They're persistent. They're relentless. They're always learning. They're always improving. They say no to everything that doesn't make him stronger. Okay? Do you know what he looks like? Do you know how he acts? Okay? And then you know who he associates with. Now become him. That's it. Who's the person you'd never want to compete against? Write that down and then become it. Psycho-competitor. Somebody that they're like, I don't want that guy to open up a shop across the street from my company. I don't want that. I don't want someone that wants to do everything better than we do. I don't want that. That's who you got to become. You guys got to realize this. Like, look, man, the number one reason why you guys aren't where you want to be is probably because you haven't become the leader that you need to be. Okay? And then I put this, are you going up against tough enough competitors? If you're not around any competition, you can never be great. I mean, imagine this. If you're a football team, you only practice as hard as the teams you're going to play, am I right? You wouldn't fucking kill yourself and go through hell week like they do in SEAL training to go against a weak-ass team. But if you knew you were going to go against the toughest team ever, then you would compete. That's what we do. See, our company, we train like we're taking on the entire world. And we want to take on anybody. Like, we thrive to take on the most dangerous. This is a big one. This one right here, to me, create dreams so big that they scare everyone around you. When you tell somebody what your dream is, do they want to slap the fucking dog shit out of you? Yeah. They better. They better say, you know what? All right, I'm done. We're not friends anymore. Now you fucking lost. Yeah. That's how big you want to go. And by the way, you can't say it. You got to believe that it can happen. Okay? You got to believe that it can happen. It's not the way it works. Okay? Somebody says, hey, how do you build a $100 million business? 100 people making $3,500 a day for 260 days a year is $91 million. Just back into the fucking math for a minute. Okay? How much money do you want to make? How much money do you want to make?
This year, 250.
Okay. What's your average deal? Commission.
4,000.
Your way? But see, you got to take property down. So here's what I want you to do. How much money you want to make? So anything that you want, you reverse engineer. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Dude, listen. You don't say, how am I going to get there? You go to the goal and then you fucking back into it. So if you were to say, I want to make 250 grand, I would say, okay, cool. What's the average deal? Okay, what's the average? You may say, well, some are big. Give me the fucking average. Give me the average. Because averages is what we play. So you give me the average, and then you figure out how many deals you have to have, and then how many of those equal 250. Like, it's pretty simple, right? You guys get it? Yeah. Okay, cool. So doing that math, if it's $4,000 commission on average, right? Right? Cool. How many do you got to sell? That's all you got to do. Just take 250,000, divide it by 4,000. What is it?
62.
How many days are you going to work this year? 5 days a week? Okay, let's say 5 to be safe. Let's say you want to spend some time with someone. Okay. So that's 260 days a year after you take a third of the year off. Notice, there's 365 days in a year, all right? If he works 5 days a week, 52 weeks in a year, that's 260 days a year. If you take 365 minus 260 days that he's going to work, he's literally taking 105 days off. That's a third of the year off, right? Okay, are you burned out? Are you tired? No? Okay, cool. So he's getting plenty of time off, and now he's going to work. Okay? So out of 260 days, you need to sell 60 units, right? 62 units. Cool. Pretty simple math. He's got to sell one every 5 days. That's it. Can you sell one every 5 days? He's like, oh yeah. It's like, fuck, dude. See what I'm saying? Right? Like, you got to do the math and you got to think, fuck, man. Dude, listen, when I was 18 years old, I made 125 grand. At 19, I made 225. At 20, I made 500 grand. I need everybody to understand this. I don't care if anyone else in the company has made it or not. Do you think you can make it? Do you have a plan in your head how it can be made? And then you build yourself to be the right person to go do the work. If you can, you're done. Dude, you guys look, by the way, hey, not to get rich, but if you guys want to really have a good life, 2 or 3 good years will change your whole life. You guys understand that? If he would just double his numbers, maybe you get a deal every 2.5 days, that would make 500,000, make $500,000. If he could sell in solar for the next 3 years and make $500,000 a year, that's $1.5 million in 3 years, right? He's literally working 5 days a week. He's taking the weekends off. You probably don't even go hit the doors until like 11 o'clock, right? 11 to 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. You're working 8 hours a day. Fuck, man, you're working banker hours, working 5 days a week, making $500,000 a year. 3 years, you could save that money up. Now, can I ask you a question? Could he go absolutely psycho and make $1 million a year? Of course he could. Guys, what would you guys rather do? I'm going to ask everybody. Remember, the God of this generation is comfort. Everybody's always like, well, I want to do this, I want to do that. Okay, cool, I love that. Sacrifice for what you want or for what you want becomes a sacrifice. What do you want right now? Listen, if you're super young, if you're 48 years old in this room, and you got a wife and you got a kid, you can't do what a 22-year-old does. You get me? But if you're 22, if you don't have a wife, if you don't have a kid, if you're 25 years old, dude, I'm going to tell you, you guys should be working 15, 18 hours a day. For the next 3 years, go make yourself a couple $1 million, get yourself out of fucking debt. Save up all your cash. Have choices. I'm just telling you the truth. You live in an era, you guys are pretty unique. But anyways, create a goal so big that scares you. And by the way, I think it's important that you write this down. People won't always get their goals, but they'll always get their standards. Which is why when I say raise your standards, right? Like Tony Robbins does these like 6-day events that are 18 hours a day, and they teach 3 magical words to raise your standards, 3 words. And so people won't always get their goals, but they'll always get their standards. So, and by the way, standards are something you would die for. You say die? Yeah, it's fun. Like, if you had a kid in here and I said, all right, either you're going to get your head cut off or your kid is. Every parent would say, fuck me right now. You wouldn't even think. That's a core value. That's a standard you're willing to die by. And so, like, you got to come up with these core values. If not, you're going to walk out these doors into the world and they're going to fucking tell you what you're going to live by. Either you make up your mind what you want to live by, or they'll make it up for you. Does that make sense? That's funny? You guys see why so many people are fucking awesome. Okay, I already said this. I said the time it takes to make a decision decides the level of your success. I said when everything changes when your decision-making time shortens. I said that earlier, but I believe in this one. Any time that I've ever thought this is good for me, the time that it takes me to go from here to here is the time that the next close I'm trying to put down makes that customer go from there to there. If you're like, I don't know, let me think about it. Don't be surprised when they say, I don't know, let me think about it. Dude, I really believe there's a cycle of shit that runs around in this world, and the way you operate is the way they operate. By the way, you can look in people's eyes because the eyes are the window to the soul. And I can look at your soul and I can tell if you're lying to me or you're telling me the truth. Okay? And so that's the reason why you have to do what you're asking your customers to do. Okay? Make quicker decisions. By the way, not big giant ones that can impact your whole family's life that are bad. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like there's like decision making, like common sense, right? Okay? This is the big one. When I see something I want, I won't stop until I get it. If you ask any successful person how they became successful, they will tell you they did whatever it took. Listen, guys, I'm talking about fucking late nights, early mornings, days without sleep, insomnia, anxiety, you feel like you're going to die, you're not going to die. I promise you're not going to die. But this is what it takes, is this. But now, I will tell you a secret, okay? I'm not asking you guys to give up things that are important to you. My wife and me live by a very simple standard. If you guys have watched any of our content, you'll know that I say your goal is to get it all. Don't be one-dimensional. If you say, Andy, I want to get rich, okay. If you give up your health, you'll never get rich because unhealthy people don't get rich. And if they do, they end up giving it off to someone else because they'll die pretty soon. So your goal is that you've got to keep your health, doing whatever it takes. I mean, you would wake up at 4:30 in the morning and go to the gym before the sun came up, so you'd be in a better mood for the next 12 hours, so you'd be in a better operating state. Does that make sense? So understand, do whatever it takes. There's businessmen that go, do whatever it takes means if I wake up and I fucking start working at 5 a.m., I'm going to get 3 more hours of work into my competition. Hey, if I go to the gym and you don't, eventually you're going to fucking break. You're going to eventually get sick at some point. You're eventually going to look in the mirror and fucking hate yourself, and you're going to suffer with depression and shit like that. And I'm not. So like when I say do whatever it takes, I mean, wake up at 4:30. Go to the fucking gym. You know, wake up, get your mind right. You know, eat clean food. Eat clean food would do whatever it takes. Like my do whatever it takes might not be another influencer's businessman do whatever it takes. I know a guy that worked his whole life to make X amount of money. And when he finally did, he sold his business for $150 million. Guess what? He fucking died about 2 years after that. Good fucking job. Good job. We told him to eat clean. We told him to work out. We told him to take good care of his family. He said, hey, when I fucking get the yacht, when I get the lake house, when I get that shit, then I'll fucking do that, right? And then my family will know that it was worth it. He's not even around anymore. Some other dude's fucking rolling around in the shop with his wife and kids. I'm not even joking. Well, someone is, right? It ain't him. So, like, yeah, good job, man. Imagine if you would have just, listen, the time was passing anyways. Imagine if he would have, watched. Did he eat? Yeah, he ate. What did he eat? Fucking cheeseburger, grilled chicken. He was eating anyways. What would have been the difference between a piece of grilled chicken and a fucking cheeseburger? I mean, just a decision. No, dude, I'm too busy. It takes the same amount of time to put a piece of grilled chicken in your mouth as it does a fucking cheeseburger. There's no, as a matter of fact, meal prepping saves you more time than thinking about where am I going to eat today. Okay? I put this one right here. Know who the hell you are and know your value. I don't know why, but I think a lot of people don't understand their value. And there's a lot of sayings that say you'll never out-earn your own self-worth. You'll never earn more than what you believe that you're worth. At the end of the day, no one else, their thoughts of you should even matter. What do you think you're worth? And people say, I'm worth millions. Bitch, if you were worth millions, you'd have it. Right? Hey, if anybody wanted a six-pack in this room, you would have one. Am I right? Facts. Just don't want one. Just don't. If you wanted a good marriage, would you have one? Just don't want one. If you wanted one, you know how to act to have a good marriage. You just don't want one. It's like this is where, like, I swear to God, this is how our company operates, and this is how, like, people, like, get rich. And by the way, when I say get rich, understand I'm saying two things at one time. Have a rich life and getting rich to me is getting rich. Having money and being financially okay and hating who you are and hating your life is not what I mean by getting rich. Okay? So anyways, just know who you are. If you don't know who you are, I assure you someone else will tell you who you are. And I'm out. The last thing here, before I got into sales, I put here the Eagles Rebirth. Has anybody ever watched this?
Yeah.
Dude, this is fucking crazy. I'll tell you, but I'll tell you, like, what I would recommend you guys do. And here's what I did. So at 39 years old, okay, so like I don't care how old you are, everybody's got an age, right? 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, it doesn't matter. There's a time where you say, like, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And, like, you've tried all the fucking shit, and you realize nothing's going to work until you change. And so, like, you have to look in the mirror, and you have to go through what I call, like, the rebirth process. And the best way for me to explain it is an eagle lives 40 years. And after 40 years, it has a choice. Either dies or goes through a rebirth process. You say, what the fuck's that? Well, it flies up to the highest mountain it can find, and literally it beats its fucking beak. It would be like you smashing your head into a rock until it breaks it all the way up. And then it waits for it to grow back. It just sits up there and waits. It just waits for it to grow back. Then it plucks out all of its feathers. It would be like you pulling your finger, your tongue, pulling all the hair out of your body. After that, it waits for it to grow back, and then it literally rips its talons out of its feet. And then after that, they grow back. And the eagle lives for another 40 years. It's a true story. You can literally go to YouTube and type in the eagle rebirth. You can fucking watch it. And dude, when you see these eagles like beating their face against a rock, like, I'm like, dude, one thing about humans, they hate accountability, they hate responsibility, they hate suffering, and they hate pain. And like, those are all the things that make you great. Remember how I told you, like, this is a good reason why, if you want to change right now, I can tell you why you're going to be really uncomfortable, but you're going to get a biological reward. And you say what? A biological reward. Oxytocin, serotonin, right? Endorphin rushes, all these things, they're chemicals that your body will give you. God made you to release all these chemicals when you do difficult and hard things. You want to feel fucking euphoric? Like walk around? I was telling little Jake back here, 17-year-old, that's doing an intro with us. This morning we did legs in the gym. And we did a drop set, 10, 10, 10. You know, and anybody knows when you do drop sets, right? You get acid all over your legs. And it's nasty. Like literally your mind, your brain starts crawling. And like, you just want out. Does that make sense? It's like being in a fucking electric chair and like, you just want the pain to quit. But stay in. And I'm counting down, 10 to 1. Okay, drop the weight, 10 to 1, and then we drop the weight again, and then 10 to 1. On that last one, all that lactic acid is running through his legs. Dude, he wants out. I told him, like, give it a minute. And all of a sudden, that pain, that nastiness, you guys all know if you work out a lot, it flipped over to pleasure. And all of a sudden, those chemicals got released in his body. It's fucking cool. You start walking around, you're like, oh, dude, you're like walking around on cloud 9. Like, I'm not God, but it's a godlike feeling. And the only way to get it is to go do something really, really hard. And so I'll tell you guys, you should get really excited when I'm like, hey, totally recreate. Like, change your whole life. Like, change everything about you. And listen, it's going to be hard as fuck. But how do we get all this biological reward? How do we get this good shit? By doing things that are really hard. And so I told you the God of this generation is comfort. And if you chase comfort, like, man, I just want to be comfortable. Dude, you're going to be the most uncomfortable person on planet. Would a mother cherish a child if she didn't have to go through 6 months of labor? Or 9 months of labor? I'm clear, 9 months. But 9 months of labor is why a mother loves her child more than anyone else. Okay? And then the next year, fucking teaching it to eat, being with it every fucking second. It's like, that's like a bond you can't break. But it's because it's so hard. That's why they fucking love their kids so much. And so my point of being said is that the harder something is, the better. So when me and my wife get into a fight, I'm almost grateful. Because I know that anytime that there's a fight, there's an opportunity for us to get closer. On my team, guys, I'm a loyalty freak. How do you create more loyalty? It's easy. You got to go through something hard with somebody. And so if somebody on my team is struggling and something happens and it's really bad, I'm like, fuck yeah. Not because I'm like, yeah, I'm glad something's going wrong, but I'm glad because now it's a time for me to step in and help them through this hard time because we are about to go to a new level together. That's it. Dude, that's the reason why, like, everybody's like, oh, it's fucking hard. And these people don't understand the chemical release. They don't understand the value that you get out of anything. Do you guys appreciate anything easy? Dude, if you give somebody something for free, you know these little spoiled fucking kids that get everything they want? Well, look, if you walk up, my daughter, we were in a fishing village in Mexico, right? And she was carrying this little baby doll a couple of years ago. My daughter was carrying it. And there was these little kids that were sitting there all covered in dirt in this fishing village. We were way out to the mountains, okay? We would go to, like, it's in San Carlos, right? Way out the mountains. And when we go out there, you can tell these kids have no toys. And my daughter hands this other little girl staring at her baby doll. And my daughter, just out of nowhere, walks over and gives it to her. And dude, this little girl starts bawling. I tell my wife, I'm like, number one, how cool was that to see our daughter give her that? Number one, that was so cool. That was like the greatest thing we ever saw. But number two, I sit down with my kids and I was like, see? You know, right? When you guys have toys, they didn't cry. You guys get stuff easy. These kids will never see stuff like this. So my point is with you guys is that the harder it is to get, the more they value it. Okay? So success is really hard. It really is. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, people say it's easy, but it really is fucking hard. And the only reason why it's hard is because winners live where quitters quit. And everybody just seems to quit before they get to the winning stage. And, you know, and then plus people quit could be one. People self-sabotage. It could be number two. People don't believe in themselves. Number three, they just don't believe. And then number four, people are around the wrong people. Look, you guys will always be a product of your environment. So if you're around the wrong people, you'll always be a piece of shit. Okay? So anyways, does that help you guys with leadership?
Yeah.
Okay? All right, let's go to sales. Is that cool? Hey, we don't have to spend a lot of time together. I was telling Jordan, I was like, dude, I'm just like, let's spend some time together, let's grow, and then let's kind of move on. Is that cool? Okay. So I want to talk about sales for a minute. So now that you got the leadership part down, I have these slides. I'll send them to Jordan. Jordan, you send them everything. Is that cool? Okay. Just so you have them and you kind of go through them later. Okay, so sales, right? So sales to me, number one, it's like people don't always remember what you said, but they always remember the way you made them feel, right? So like sales, like there's hundreds of micro skills when you're selling. Hands, eyes, head nods, like this, right? Teeth, like smiling with your eyes, giving them eye contact, paying attention, right? Feet, posture, right? Like posture is a big one. Like all these little things are all little micro skills. You got to make sure you're on point the whole time, okay? The way you look, you know, a lot of people don't really think about the way they look. Now, let's talk about words. The way that you play your words. Has anybody ever watched a motivational video, like on YouTube or something, and you fucking watch it and you're like, God, I just want to go tear some shit up. You're like, feel really good? Well, what if a guy had the same video, but he didn't say the words just like that guy? But they were the same words, but they weren't the same word play. They weren't played the same way. Well, you wouldn't have felt the same way about it. That's selling. The reason why you have to know what you're going to say before you say it, and you have to know that repetition. If you're in sales, you should know what you're going to say before you even say it. Like you should never be thinking like, what the fuck am I going to say? You should already know what to say the second they say it. Why? Because people can tell if you're thinking about what you're going to say the second they tell you no, or the second they have a concern. Look in your face and they're like, oh, he's thinking. And by the way, when you think, what do you do naturally? Look away. People, they do, like, watch this. See my face? Watch this. So, Andy, what is your best price? So my best, oh, bitch, did you swallow? Because I ain't seen you swallow the whole fucking time, and all of a sudden I ask you what your best price is, and you start fucking swallowing it. Does that make sense? Okay, so write this down. Don't do anything out of the ordinary when you're put under pressure. Okay, there's this thing in the military. It says when your back's against the wall, you fall to your lowest level of skill. And what that means is, in the military, they make you take your gun apart in the dark. They blindfold you, they make you take it apart and put it back together. The reason why is because you gotta know your weapon. But what in sales, what's your weapon? Like your hands and body language and posture, tonality is a weapon. But your words are your weapon in sales. Okay? So there's this thing in sales, and if I can just teach you a couple things, I would teach you to learn a couple framing techniques that every time guarantee and ensure that the customer gives you the answer you're looking for. Okay? All right, so who in here knocks doors? Everybody? Okay? All right, so think about that. Do you knock doors?
Yes.
Cool, come here. Let's just role play. Well, and by the way, like, there's no right or wrong. I just want to explain what framing is. Is that cool? How long have you been selling it? Cool, 1 month. I know they taught you something. Am I right? Did they teach you something? Like they taught you, have you knocked the door yet?
Yes.
Cool, here's what we're going to do. Number one, knock, knock. And I don't want you to get nervous. You don't even have to role play it like we're live. Just tell everybody what you say when you hit the door. Is that cool? Okay? So it's not, by the way, I don't want you to think. I don't want you to come up with something that sounds cute. I want you to say what they taught you to say. Is that cool? All right, ready? Ready, so knock, knock. Door opens. I'm standing here. What do you say?
So I would have some foods.
Whatever. Practice. Whatever.
So I'd be like,
Yeah. Let's do it, just like we're doing.
no.
Hey, how you doing?
How's it going, sir? Hey, have you looked into the rate hikes for mini source?
No.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, cool. So you see that you know it's in on your bill, right? So the bill has gone up by 12% last year, and it keeps posting a 12% increase this year again. Have you realized it? Have you?
I don't pay attention to it. My wife does that.
Oh, okay. So is she talking much about it?
No, she hasn't said that.
Okay, so
How many times have I said no? Everything's been a no. Listen, number one, you ain't done anything wrong. And by the way, I'm not telling him that what he's doing isn't going to work. I want to be the fucking best. So to be the best, there's this thing that I say, it's called being a master communicator. And a master communicator makes it easy to say yes to. What do I need? I need fucking yeses. I need this guy. I'm not playing the yes matter. I need 63 yeses before I ask for the sell. That's not what I'm doing. I'm saying I need him to say yes to my shit. Right? I should never ask him a question, right? Now, I could be like, you know, do you want your utility bill to go up? No. Well, that could be a good no, right? But at the end of the day, I want him to say yes to the things that I'm going to bring to the table. Does that make sense? Okay? So number one, we got to make it easy to say yes to. Number two, we got to make it hard to say no to. I need to make it where he cannot say no to anything that I'm saying. What is that called? Framing. The words that I say will frame him to give me the answer that I want so I can end up with that fucking utility bill in my hand in about a minute. Am I right? Okay. Can you get every person in every house to give you their utility bill? Yes or no? See, that's the problem. Number one. Here. He should say, fuck yeah, I can. If I was good enough, I could. Am I right? Okay, good. That's the mind. That was the beginning of this, the mind. Here. If I say, can you get everybody to give it to you? If they open the door, bet your ass that I can get it. Listen to me. When I sold cars, I'm going back to when I was a kid, but when I sold cars, if I could get on the phone with you or if I could shake your hand, you'll finish. It didn't matter. I didn't care. Listen, so I was a kid, and I'm going to go back to saying why I would, and I'll tell you how I framed. When I was a kid, I was making, 50 sales a month selling cars. An average kid was making 8. And at 21, 22, 23 years old, they start begging me to become a closer, right? Like you guys have center closers. We had salespeople that would go in to try to close deals, and then customers would blow out. Anybody ever got up and walked out of a car dealership before?
Yes.
I'm sure most of you are like, fuck yeah, I did. Yeah, what happens? They show you some shitty numbers for your trade, price is too high on the car, monthly payments way too big, interest rates too high, and then what do? You get up, and you start walking out. Am I right?
Yeah.
That's when they called me. So I was on this mile of cars, right? It was a whole mile. I had a golf cart, and back in the old day, there was this thing called a Nextel radio. And it would go, and it would be like GMC building, old lady, white hair, yellow purse. And that's all I fucking got.
Hey, it's the Macklin twins. Thanks for watching the video. If you want the free mentality blueprint, it'll teach you how to be strong, bulletproof in your mentality. Go ahead and text 480-780-2203. Again, 480-780-2203. We'll text it right over to you. Text us. Let's go.